talk a little bit about descent techniques and what's effective, what's appropriate, what's not. Our basic descent techniques is big ears with speed bar, beeline stall, spirals, whether they be round spirals or asymmetric spirals, whatever, and on the fence with maybe full stalls. First off, big ears. Big ears are a very nice, mild descent technique which carries forward speed. When you pull the big ears in, it's often a good idea to add a little speed system. If you add the speed system with big ears, you sink a little more and you go a little faster. Often, depending on your glider, even as much as 3/4 to full speed bar doesn't feel quite as unstable as it would with the glider fully open. Realize that if you have a large set of ears and your glider's trimmed kind of slow, it might be a good idea for a safety point of view to add 1/3 to half speed system just to make sure your glider's going to keep flying with those ears on and not stop flying. There's been a bit said about whether it's appropriate to hold your ears down and low to the ground, and I don't think I'm gonna take a side there. I personally very seldom use ears low to the ground, and I think it's good to be aware of how strong your glider flies when it has ears, whether you think it's flying very slowly and it doesn't have a lot of airspeed range left in it, or you think it's very hard to stop flying with ears. That's something that you're going to need to make a decision with the equipment you're using. Big ears are only effective in a certain amount of lift because they basically give you about 250 to 400 foot more sink a minute. If you're in strong lift, you're still going to go up with big ears. So big ears are mainly an effective tool when you're ridge soaring or on the ocean where you can't do anything like circles or a beeline to stop your airspeed because you'll blow over the mountain. So big ears are to prevent you from getting in too much trouble or too much lift or too much wind, to keep you lower on the hill. So use those early on. The beeline stalls are a descent technique where you have no forward airspeed. So it's not going to be an effective descent technique in the wind. If it's very effective if you're thermaling and you're getting up close to clouds or you have somewhere to drift. And how I do it is I have my brakes in my hands, I reach up from the outside of the risers, I grab onto the malleons themselves where the bees are, and after I grab onto, I look at my hands and I confirm I have just the bee risers. From there, I pull down quickly and deliberately, somewhere between 8 to 10 inches. And as I pull down, I look at the glider and watch the wing. As you pull the bees down, the wing gets skinnier and it starts to stop flying and it drops. If you pull the bees too far, the glider may get too skinny and it may start to snake around or cause a front horseshoe. If that happens, you've pulled too far. Release them. If the glider is unhinging on its own, keep your hands up, let the glider move forward and get its airspeed back. If you release and it's not unhinging, pump the brakes just like a front horseshoe from a frontal, release, hands up, let it fly. Remember, you're pulling too far, don't pull so far next time. That's why when you pull, you're watching the wing through the whole process. Never look away from the glider until you know it's stable. Make sure you have the bees. Watch the wing during the process until you know it's stable. And then finally, when you release quickly and deliberately and put your hands up because you've stopped the glider from flying. You need to release, let the glider move forward on a bit of a surge, let it go, and then there you and the glider go off getting your airspeed back.
Okay, beeline stalls. You can have your hands in a position where you won't lose grip, or this one, it doesn't really matter, but you want to select the bees. Before you pull, you want to look at your bees and make sure you've got the bees. Then pull down quick and deliberate, because if you pull slow, you'll lift yourself out of the seat almost. So pull hard and quick, hold it, and wait till it settles. Now it's settled, I can release it anytime. I look down, I look to the side, I'm dropping nicely. Release. If the glider starts to get a little funny, you want to release. Looked like the glider did get a little funny there for a moment. although it wasn't horseshoeing. That's what you want to watch for. If you pull it down too much, that glider will horseshoe, and that's a problem. So never look away unless you're pretty confident that you're all right with it. So we'll do another one. And if you pull too far, that's when you know you've got, if it gets funny, it's because you've pulled too far. So let's try and pull more, see what it does. Still not doing nothing. Oh, the boomerang's acting quite nice. All right, brakes.
All right, go ahead and do V-line stall. Grab the bees, make sure it's the bees. Pull. Make sure that you're not letting your glider horseshoe. If you're horseshoeing, it's too much. Release, hands up. Your glider regains its airspeed.
The spirals are probably, well, basically they're the fastest way to reduce your altitude. But it's very physically demanding, and it's a lot of forces on your glider and your harness. It's not so much force that you need to worry about the structural integrity of your equipment if you're flying current gear. If you're not flying current gear, or you're flying with aged comp lines, you need to question yourself before you start to engage in a lot of G-forces. If you're in over 2,000 foot a minute lift, there's nothing you can do to make your glider come down. You can try and tell yourself, I can spiral at 2,400 foot a minute. But if you're doing that, you're gonna be spiraling for a minute and you're gonna lose 400 feet. As soon as you exit the spiral, you're gonna gain about 300. And you're gonna be right back where you were. You're gonna be G'd out, you're gonna be dizzy, there's gonna be a lot of blood in your head, and you're gonna wonder why you even tried that. A beeline stall is gonna bring you down about 12 to 1,400 foot a minute max. You're still going up. Big ears is obviously not gonna do anything for you. So if you get in a situation where you're in very strong lift, you need to take a heading in a direction of safety and in a direction where you think there'll be sync and clear sky. So keep that in mind, that you're just not gonna descend in super strong air with the paraglider. You need to go somewhere else.